Welcome, my name is Halcyon, and it is a treat to be able to share this moment, this vibration with you. Welcome to Hug Nation. Today's topic is the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a topic that was fantastically studied by Joseph Campbell. And he looked at stories and mythology from all over the world, all sorts of cultures, and discovered this thread. His famous book about this is it The Hero with 1,000 Faces or The Man with 1,000 Faces? There's thousands of faces. And what he presented was that there is this journey, this story. Now, most people I know became familiar with Joseph Campbell first because George Lucas studied and consulted with Campbell in the construction and the writing of the Star Wars trilogy. So this mythology of a boy who is called, leaves home, goes on a journey, gets tested, meets a elder scribe or a wise person that helps them on their journey. They get allies and they overcome things. They're changed and then they return to the world that they initially left. Now, I am not going to break down the hero's journey in a scholarly way. Instead, I just wanted to acknowledge it as a tool itself. And I mean that because I've become aware of the incredible importance and power of having a tool set of spiritual, psychological techniques, ideas, thoughts that can recalibrate you, that can get you back on track when your mind starts spinning into a bad place. Now, I was clinically depressed for over 10 years. I was on medication. I took daily medication for anxiety and depression for almost 12 years. And one of the reasons, or one of the differences between who I was then and who I am now, is that now I have this tool set. And one of the things in my tool set is at least a basic, but an understanding of Campbell's concept of myths and of the hero's journey. Because in the hero's journey, it's kind of a cycle. The hero feels a call, and at some point in the journey, there's all sorts of trials and tribulations and despair before the sword can be pulled from the stone, or before the dragon can be slayed, or before there has to be challenges. And a basic understanding of that helped me in a few ways. One of which was, oh, you know what? Let me do this because I forgot. Let's see if this looks better. You tell me if this looks better. So the learning about the hero's journey and adding that to my toolkit was important for two reasons. One of which is that it became incredibly calming and soothing to just know that the journey has cycles. In my dark times, when I was depressed, when I had an awareness of darkness that was eternal and not ending, it was just that thought, that it was eternal. I could not conceive that the low moments were finite, would eventually end, that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. I think in a lot of ways that is a huge way to define depression. It's when your lows just don't end, and you don't think, you have no concept that they will ever end. You can't see that this is a mindset. You simply see that this is the way the world is. And so by going through these cycles enough times, I started to become aware that, okay, it may not feel like it now. It may feel like I'm going to be in this prison forever. I'm going to be, trapped in this dungeon forever. I'm going to be feeling this way, that I'm a loser forever. I know that this will pass. I will get through this. And just that knowledge, that faith, that over time becomes wisdom because you experience it over and over again. I think one of the massive parts of the gifts of aging and wisdom is that you start to learn that you can't always trust your thoughts, that things don't work out the way that you think they're going to, and you start to gain a surrendering faith that things work out, things and cycles happen. I love the example of how many people have not had a romantic relationship end, and as it's ending, you're just like, no, I can't live without you, please, no. And then 2-3 years later, you think to yourself, thank God I'm not with that person anymore. But at the time, when you're in the dungeon, when you can't see that light. But after recognizing one of your tools is this knowledge of the hero's journey, you don't stay in the dungeon. You get out and you go on another adventure and you conquer more things, and you have to have that experience in the dungeon to give you the strength or to give you the lessons or to find the magic key or whatever it is. That's part of the journey. And when you have that script, when you know, oh my gosh, this is how it happens throughout history, this is how it's always happened, this is how it will happen for me. When you're in that dark pit, you can go, this is one of those times when I can't trust myself. I'm going to trust Mr. Joseph Campbell and Obi-Wan Kenobi and those folks. Now, the other thing that the hero's journey was super impactful for me is that just that shift of perspective to seeing your life as an epic myth, as this heroic journey. Because we kind of get trained to think that the goal of life is to alleviate all your struggles. What would be ideal, what would be perfect is if I could just spend the rest of my days drinking pina coladas, at poolside. But that's not true. You may think you want that, but you would be profoundly bored and quickly depressed if you had nothing going on in your life. A fantastic life is one with adventures, with, roller coasters are not, I guess you can go to Autotopia at Disneyland and just go tick, 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 and there's no ups and downs, it just kind of goes around and it cruises things, or It's a Small World, I guess is like that. And okay, there is some pleasantness to just checking it out, but would you ride It's a Small World 24/7? I'm guessing hour 6 of It's a Small World and you would be attacking violently those Eskimo people. Or Inuits, excuse me. But when you start to realize that the goal of life is not the alleviation and the elimination of struggle, but instead finding struggles that are in line with your values and your integrity, that's what a hero is, then you can start to reframe your own struggles. Instead of saying, why me? You go, of course, why me? Because I'm the flippin' hero of my story. And also, what I used to always say to myself, and I would think back when I was really struggling, I go, you know what? What kind of life, what kind of book would I want my life to be? Would I want it to be, and It's a Small World, that's a bad example, but would I want my life to be some cheesy, romantic, summer reading thing that someone reads and discards? Or would I want my story to be the Odyssey, some epic myth that just inspires people and scares people and then roots for me and then worries about me? That's the story that you want of your life. And if that is the case, then you got to get dirty. You got to take some chances. You got to risk people not liking you. You got to risk getting cut by the dragon. You might even be killed by the dragon. Because that's a big part of it. And the dragon that I'm talking about is not a big reptile. In the modern world, the hero has to battle very different things. And they're always unique to us, specifically. But I think very common in this modern age, the dragons are things like judgment, are things like self-doubt, are things like the status quo beliefs and thoughts that we have to be heroes to confront and contradict and choose paths that are outside of what has been chosen for us as consumers. If you're going to take a step outside, you're going to be judged, you're going to be mocked. You know, the fangs of the dragon is judgment and raised eyebrows and, you know, snarky Facebook posts or something like that. You know, the commenting on YouTube is far crueler than any, you know, troop of bandit trolls that are going through the hillside. I'd much rather face evil orcs than high school commenting on YouTube. Anyway, my point is that I listened to a talk this last week by Peacenik, who we do these wisdom talks in our office now every couple weeks, and she focused on the hero's journey. And as she was talking, I realized how profound the hero's journey story had been for me and how an important part of my toolkit it was. And so I encourage you to dig deeper into Joseph Campbell, especially. There is an interview video of Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers that is so fantastic. You can usually find it, I think, on Netflix, but wherever you got to find it. Go on a journey and seek it out. And I started to reflect on, you know, this kind of some of the cycles of my hero's journey through time. And it's an interesting moment in time right now for me. I just looked at my YouTube channel, which I started in 2005. And I'm about, sometime this afternoon, I will pass 2 million views of videos like this one. And granted, about 1.5 million of that is probably me hitting refresh and checking out my hair. But even if you take those numbers in consideration, that's a lot of connection using this amazing tool of digital broadcast and reception and vibrational attunement that is possible, this empowering of one another that can happen through these digital means. I was excited about it, you know, 15 years ago, and I'm excited about it now. So I wanted to just trace a couple things along that journey. So Hug Nation, which we are in the middle of right now, thank you for being here, basically started 13 years ago last week. It's now mid-September. On September 11th, what was that, 2001, when we were dealing with the aftermath of this horrible event, there was a camaraderie that we felt in our neighbors and across the world. And very quickly, the media narrative slipped back into the old myth of bad guys and good guys and us and them. And to me, it felt like that narrative didn't work in a world where we have the ability to connect with people one-on-one all over the world. The idea of these kind of these walls based on where you live are not nearly as strong or as high or as powerful as they were before the world was connected. And so Hug Nation was a way, an attempt, an experiment in trying to say, can we connect? Can we tell a new narrative and remind one another that no matter what you hear on the news, the world would rather hug you than hurt you. And then taking a moment once a week to actually hug ourselves and visualize those others, those brothers and sisters around the world that may or may not be born or live in another country or have other religious beliefs or political beliefs, but they are human and they are anchored in love. And by tuning into that, we could change the world. And that path was, like every hero's journey, I had all sorts of obstacles and all sorts of struggles. Luckily, I did run into my Obi-Wan and had the mentoring of my grandpa, Caleb Sheichels, Reverend Caleb Sheichels, who co-hosted Hug Nation for several years. And if you have not ever watched him, I highly urge you to go tune into some archives of Grandpa Caleb or grandpacaleb.com, and you can get a peek of how amazing he was. But as I look back in this journey and these struggles and many of the dragons along this journey were things like doubt, were things like feeling like a fraud and not trusting enough, and it's a beautiful awareness to take a step back and chart this journey as I find myself where I am right now. And if you have noticed in the last few months, I've been broadcasting from this location, which is the offices of Fresh Realm, a company that I'm a co-founder of, and I've been working here almost 2 years, being in charge of branding as well as company culture. And what's exciting and why I'm mentioning this is because one of my recent battles on this journey has been trying to reconcile who I am as someone who is called to tell stories and do Hug Nation and speak my truth and from a place of integrity, and also one who's trying to work in a professional way. And I have been encouraged and supported and really demanded by my peers here and my colleagues here to be that person in the context of Fresh Realm. And so over the last many months, we have been getting ready to launch a show that is going to be hosted from right here, that is going to be about the values of our company, about connection and gratitude and gifting. Seriously, I feel like this is the world I've manifested. My job is going to be hosting a show that we are calling Goodness Gracious. And it's going to be a chance to talk about the same things we talk about with Hug Nation. The last dragon that I had to fight is I kept thinking, how am I going to have to tone this stuff down and make it more corporate? And Michael, the CEO, and other colleagues are like, no. We as a group have been called together to do certain things, but also because we believe certain things. And some of us are better at running a warehouse. What we want you to do is to share and spread the ideas that motivate us and inspire us, because it's all part of this vision of growth personally and growth societally and growth globally. So I'll be honest, when I was at Burning Man and I was feeling so in the zone and so in my purpose, I was like, I don't know if I can go back. And now that I'm back and I feel like I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to do Goodness Gracious, I'm supposed to be right here, right now, and I hope you feel that way to some degree too, wherever you are. I hope you're a part of this journey. You clearly are. If you hear this, you're a part of this journey. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support and the belief and the faith and the trust. I know that I have turned the camera on and started broadcasting it sometimes, and it felt like there was a dragon pinning me down on my chest and I couldn't breathe. But I never felt alone. So thank you for helping me on this journey and being the, I don't know what character, the Chewbacca to my journey. I do not have the words, but I will simply say thank you for the overt and subtle and vocal and silent support and love that I absolutely feel to the core of who I am, or more accurately, I guess, to the core of what I am when I get who I am out of the way. So thank you for helping me on my journey to let that light shine. And I hope I can return the favor in helping you let your light shine. Thank you for being who you are and doing the hard work and being a hero, walking that path. It's your path, but it is your gift to the world. Thank you. I love you. Namaste. Let's have a hug. Grab yourself by the shoulders. Oh, and feel those arms, and let those be the arms of everyone that you've passed today. Driven by in a car, seen in a restaurant. And then let's let those arms be the arms of every person those people have seen in their past day, and then their past week, and your past week. And let's just start feeling like this 6 degrees of non-separation. And these arms grabbing you are just symbolic representations of all those other brothers and sisters walking their paths, fighting their battles, struggling in their struggles. But in this moment, they are simply holding you, acknowledging you, and recognizing that we are all more alike than we are different. Let's take 3 breaths and just feel held by the world as we squeeze and we hold the world. We are forgiven. We forgive. Let's let our divine, loving hearts just shine as we take 3 breaths and feel held in through the nose. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb, Obi-Wan, Joseph Campbell, Ulysses, and all the love warriors, Happy Hug Nation, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Thank you for walking your path. You're a freaking hero. I love you. Namaste.